Welcome back, everyone, to the program. My name is Jeff, otherwise known as the Economic Prepper, and I wanted to talk to you today about budgets, and we're going to expand on that concept in a few moments as we get beyond just your personal budget. But most of us have worked with a budget before. We know how much currency we have to work at. I'll call it money for ease of conversation, but we know how much money we have coming in each month. We know how much money goes out each month, and we know what the pile of debts are that are already existing that we're trying to work down. Those are the three things that we need to know to figure out what our budget should be and how to move life successfully. Do we need to increase our revenue? Do we need to decrease our spending? Do we need how fast are we going to whittle down that old debt? All that sort of things. That's how you do a budget. Now, I mention this because we're less than 45 days away from the federal budget being due, which is September 30th. Now, we haven't talked about this much that often lately in the public disclosure because they've been doing CRs, continuous resolutions, to continue the old budget, to keep kicking that can down the road, not having to talk about what's the budget supposed to be, how are we going to manage the budget going forward, and so on. But that's probably going to come up significantly at the end of September, because we're going to need a new budget for the coming year. We're not going to go, well, I seriously doubt we're going to do another CR and continue the legacy budget that we've been working with for a while now. But to work out your budget, you need to understand your expenses and also what do you owe that's legitimate on the tab. So, for example, if you're at a restaurant, as an example, if you get the bill and it's higher than you expect. Let's say you sat down for dinner, you expected maybe dinner for 2, 3 of you, whatever it was, going to be $150. And it comes up being $450. You're immediately going to look at it and say, question some charges and say, is that legitimate or not? That is what the current administration is going to be doing. And what they're doing it with Doge, and they're going to be looking at all these different NGOs out there that are pulling resources away from where the money really needs to go. So you have certain things like the military, Social Security, Medicaid, all that stuff. They have their own internal problems. They have their own internal numbers they got to be looked at. But there's other things like all these NGOs that existed that got funding out of the budget, and we're like, where did that money go? Did it really matter? So that's why we're going to be looking at that. And there's a reason they're going to, like all this Doge stuff and talking about Elon getting back involved, it's coming back. It's because pocket rescissions are about to happen. Budget discussions are going to happen. And all this has to happen between now and the end of September. Now, what's a pocket rescission? A pocket rescission basically says that the president has the opportunity for I think it's 45 days to take anything that's not been spent that was in the previous budget and say, all right, I'm taking that money back. We're not spending that right now until we come to a better decision within 45 days. If they do that within 45 days of the next budget being due, that basically takes the money off the table until the next budget gets approved. So that's going to be happening a lot, as well as a lot of these other expenses that are not legitimate that come into question, from anywhere from revamping the Federal Reserve buildings to various NGOs to who funded USAID. All those different things are going to come out. And that's going to lead to some investigations and possible litigation or charges against people that helped form that NGO. So I'm going to play a little what if. What if I was a member of Congress and I created an NGO, and later it was found out that that NGO did not serve the intended purpose, or that expense that was left on the government, that hole that it created in the budget of, say, $10 million that went to the NGO that turned out to be not a legitimate expense for the government? That could lead to criminal charges against whoever kicked off or led that NGO charge. Now, I want to say that it's significant that this is happening right now, and I fully anticipate this is going to happen in the next 6 weeks, because technically, Congress, while they claim to be in session, the Senate is doing that pro forma nonsense where they have a guy bang a gavel every 3 days to say that they're in session. But if Trump wanted to come out and just say, like, look, we've got people in place, we have things that they're ready to go charge certain people for certain things. I will point this out. The only time that you're legally allowed to arrest a member of Congress is when Congress is not in session. So, in theory, what if, let's just say someone in Congress, I won't mention names, but you can pretty much figure out who this is. Let's just say that they had a legal issue pending for mortgage fraud. and that charge gets issued right now. Technically, well, the House isn't in session, but a senator could be charged as well. And if Trump says that there's no agreement between the two houses, he can declare Congress to be fully out of session. Once he does that, it could be very swift for them to come in and arrest the people that are going to be charged or have charges pending. So a lot could be happening over the next 6 weeks, but before you get to a balanced budget and getting to revamping the currency or figuring out how much gold we have or what we need to pay off, we need to find out what debts we have are legitimate, which ones are not legitimate, and see if that $37 trillion tab that we've allegedly built up over the last 100 plus years as the federal deficit, how much of that deficit is legitimate and how much was made by illegal actors or bad actors that had access to funding in the government. So I expect a lot of things to happen in the next 6 weeks. Look for these pocket rescissions. Look for any possibility of an official recess to be enacted by the president, and look for swift actions to come thereafter. It's a what if, it's a possibility, but I question everything. And I want to fix the money and fix the world. So hopefully that some of the things that I'm seeing that are on the horizon come to fruition and the right things and the right people take action. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. I read every comment too, so leave one. Have a good one.